Okay, so I'm gonna bring you back to the 90s. I was a school teacher up in LA Unified, and in the middle of the 90s I was up there. I was teaching at a brand new school in Maywood, and my classroom was up on the third floor, and it looked down on a street, 59th Street in Maywood. And I'm sitting at lunch one day, and I look out the window, and if there's any teachers here, you'll know that half hour you get for lunch, it's just sacrosanct, you know. Yeah, it's peaceful, it's quiet. I'm looking out the window, and along 59th Street, I see this young fella come along, and he takes his backpack off, and he reaches into the backpack, and he gets out a can of aerosol paint, and he starts tagging the wall, and he tags the wall again, and then there's this abandoned building across the street. He tags the door, and the windows are all boarded up. He tags that too, and I'm thinking, I bet you this is the same little kid that scratched his tag into the school 2 days after the school was open. You know what? I'm going to call the police on this little guy. Let's see if we can get his come up. And so I call the police, the Maywood Police Department, and I tell them the same thing I just told you. There's a kid tagging the walls, and could they send somebody around? And the lady says, yeah, we'll see if there's a cruiser in the area. So I go back to my lunch, and it's then that I remember that I have the latest technology in the classroom. Now, this is the 90s. Remember the 90s? Video cameras were the size of a bread box, and you carried them on your shoulder like this. You had to send your pictures out to be developed. Do you remember that? And you had to wait 3 days for your pictures to come back. But we have the latest technology in my classroom. It's a digital camera. And this digital camera, there was one for the entire school, and you had to sign it out in the morning and sign it back in the evening. So I grabbed the little digital camera, and I zoom it in as tight as it'll go. And by this time, the kid's coming out from the abandoned factory, and he reaches up and he spray tags the stop sign, and I take his picture, and he spray tags the school zone sign, and I take his picture. Now I'm getting excited because I have digital evidence against this kid. I'm going to call the police back. I'm going to let them know that I've cracked the case, that I have digital evidence. And I call the police, and I call back, and this is where I make my big mistake, because Maywood is a very small community, and the Maywood Police Department is a very small police department. So I assume that I'm talking to the same dispatcher. So here's the way the story goes. Maywood Police Department, can I help you, please? Can I help you? Yeah, it's me. It's the teacher from the new school on 29th Street. I called about the tagger. He's coming across the street. I took his picture. There's a long pause on the end of the line, and the lady says, there's a tagger in Maywood? Now, immediately I realized my mistake. When I say tagger, she's thinking jungle animal, okay? But that's all right, that's all right. I'm trained as a teacher of English as a second language. I know that if someone doesn't understand what you say, you just repeat it louder and louder and louder. Not a tiger, I'm a tiger. There's a tiger, he's crossing the street. He's coming towards the school. I took his picture. Can you send somebody immediately? Okay, by this point she's convinced that it's a junk call, because here's what she says. You know, Circus Vargas was in town last week. Maybe he jumped off the train. So I slammed the phone down. My career in police detection ruined, and until the day I retired, some of the senior teachers would say to me, hey Liam, I saw a hippopotamus on 59th Street. You better call it in. Shin shin, that's it for me. Thank you very much.